Welcome to the end of the video. I don't know why I'm putting this at the beginning of this whole video since I've already shot everything and what I need to do is done. But hey, how you doing? I missed you. I hope you're well. Hope your cat is well petted, your dog is well fed, and say hi to your mom for me. I've been trying to make you love me, but kind of seems like I know what I'm doing. It looks pretty good. I'm not too mad. You know, this being the damaged part, I was kind of concerned about the lineup and a few other things. And as you can see, it needs to be massaged quite a bit here. I have this squared up on the outside. The outside looks great, but you can see this is kind of dipped down. And actually, this one's actually kind of, I seen on video, but it's crushed up in there and it's been straightened out. So it's not super duper straight, but everything else is lining up pretty well. You can see where that former layover was. This is right on top of it, in a good spot. Under here is lined up pretty well. This is kind of straight up and down with this, which makes me happy. I took a little bit more out here than I should have, which I kind of got a little happy with the old cut wheel, but that's not impossible to massage back. And this needs to be pushed up a little bit more and rocked over. And I'll keep messing with it, but we're getting real close. I feel like some trimming here will help me out get a little bit further up in the hole. And I'm just going to keep plugging away on this, and we'll see where we get. Whew. All right, well, let me see where I'm at here. Not bad, gap's not bad. So I went ahead and used this fender kind of as an alignment tool. Bolted this one down pretty tight, kind of snugged it where the washer was. I know that's not going to be an exact science, but it's going to get me closer and hold me in place kind of as a fixture. I am going to call it for the night. It's getting late. Hannah's in the way to get some dinner for us. So, as you can see here, I've got mostly clamped up at the top. So these gaps I'll be able to fill in a little bit closer. Move this into place. I'll be able to put this where it needs to be right there, out there. And I'm going to hope that's going to be in a pretty good spot. The good thing is, if I don't have exactly where this is going to be, and also, you know, this has been replaced before, I can kind of massage this where it needs to be because it's pretty easy to manipulate. That's not going to be like a death sentence if I don't get this exactly perfectly lined up. But this is going to help me out so much. And I did pick up some extra material to kind of fill in the gaps. So if I do have some gaps there, I would like to seam seal it. I haven't done seam seal before, but I would like to do that with this car just for the dust mitigation and a lot of other things. That's looking good. Tomorrow, I'm going to come here and massage this one into place. I think this is going to be a lot easier because a lot of the headache I was having was with that unrectangled tube over there. And this one, as you can see, is really in good shape. This one wasn't crashing the side. And you can see the exact line here. I think this will be a lot easier to line up and trim the way I want it to be. So with that said, done for the night. Hey y'all. I got a lot to catch you guys up on. I just recorded a whole intro and completely forgot to push record on the camera. Yeah, I got a little rusty, but hey, how you doing? Yeah, I'm still alive. I'm good. I'm doing probably better than I have my entire life. I feel healthy, mentally, physically. Financially, everything's doing really well. I feel happy, and that's why I'm back recording. This is kind of the whole reason I've been setting up for this whole getting back to me thing. Like, see welders here, my TIG welders right there. That's all set up. Gonna cut some new stuff over here, some new tools, new doodads I've been collecting for the last few months. Getting real close to getting back to a full swinging ass shop here. And yeah, I mean, if you see this being on here, there's a front end on the CRX. How did that happen? We'll get to that eventually. This is kind of like a car video masked as a update video as well, because I want to get you guys caught up on life and see how you guys, how while we're here, how are you doing? Good. I'm glad to hear that for you. I hope everything's going well. I really do. I took a little bit of time to kind of look at myself and look inward and get some stuff done with me, and work got crazy, life got crazy, but I was treating YouTube as, well, this is something you got to do. I mean, people are waiting on you. You got to do it. You got to do it. You got to do it. And I realized that was the wrong way to look at it. And I was just kind of dreading picking up a camera and charging my batteries and getting stuff together because, well, it's just something I got to do. I had a little bit of a realization last week that I do this because I love this. I love creating. I love putting together videos. What I really like doing is just going back and watching some of my old videos, just seeing what I was up to, seeing what part of the build I was at, what aspirations and goals I had, what races I was doing, and that's what I want to get back to. Like, man, like, how are you going to be able to look back when you don't record? Like, how are you going to show people like, oh, this is what I'm up to, or how personally for me, it's healthy to go back and see how much I've grown and see different changes in my life. And over the last, I guess, 5 years I've been doing YouTube. Anyway, the last 6.5, 7 years I've been doing YouTube, I've grown a lot, and it's fun to see. At one point there was a CRX that was right here. There was a parts CRX, and I got the parts that I needed, and those parts went to here. And as you can see, this now has a new front end. That K24 parts CRX. I got everything I needed. I went through and I chopped up the whole front end of that other one, and I welded here, seam sealed it, painted it, got it all put together. Actually turned out pretty well. This is really the first front end swap I've done myself as far as like just core support and everything. So I was able to get everything pretty straight. It all looks really good on this side. That part CRX I had was actually crashed on this side, so lining up some of this was not the smoothest thing in the entire world, but I think I turned out pretty well. There is a little bit of a gap here. I'll probably only tack welded this side, so I'll probably break these welds and move this up just a little bit more to bring it up. This side looks pretty good. It's a little bit more flush out, and I think that's just because this wasn't the crash side, and I think this was the crash side, and it was kind of messing me up a little bit over here. So there's some tweaking here and there, but everything else looks pretty good. And the keen-eyed here will notice a few other small changes that have happened to the CRX over the last few months. That thing is probably glaringly obvious. It's staring right at you. That is the all-wheel drive S1 built ram horn in a header. Sorry, it's a whole mouthful of stuff to say there. But that is all brand new. That was something they just released. I kind of bugged them a little bit about it, and they ended up making a few, and I bought one of the first ones that came off the line. And as you see down here, you see down there, there's a nice, wonderful gap between the subframe and the header without any notching, any problems at all. And I was really excited how that fit. And I've got the down, it comes with a down pipe that's actually laying under the car right now that goes out to the catback that I will eventually build. And I'll build a whole full exhaust for this thing. I've got some things planned out. Another keen eye viewer will notice this RBC intake manifold. This came up locally. A friend of mine, Dustin, had it for sale, and I was kind of wishy-washy about buying one. I really needed one because I had that old school Element double awful intake manifold. It was just huge and unsightly. And this cleans up the whole engine bay so much better. It's a single runner. These runners are so much better for flow. They sound better, just perform better, just look better, everything's better. Only thing is, it's a little tall. It's going to stick up a little bit. I haven't trimmed the hood yet to completely close on it, but we'll get to that here shortly. Oh, yeah, so got all that routed. All this is back up. Plugged this brake booster line because that was going to be a straight up barb, and that was just way too tall. That actually I may change this throttle bracket a little bit. Plug the coolant line up there, so that's all taken care of. The good thing about this RBC is it fits on the K24 A2 without any modifications. The coolant runs all the same. You don't do any trimming. You don't do anything wild in that. Something kind of neat that I did, and I was kind of proud of myself, is I ran this K-tuned throttle body actually has a vacuum port down here that I'm not using. So what I did is I got a tap. So what I did is I got an MPT, I think 8 to MPT to 3/8 adapter to a bigger barb, and a big enough barb to fit on the brake booster line. So the brake booster has vacuum now, kind of hidden underneath there, kind of makes it a little cleaner. Pretty proud of that. Everything else is looking pretty good here. Another major part that I haven't talked about. If you'll notice here, the keen eye viewer will notice that all the rear end is done. It's all welded up. Don't look at the welds too close. They are structurally sound. Not very pretty. But everything is all bolted up. The drive shaft is hooked up. The diff is there. It's all plated, sealed. Diff fluid is in there. Now, this is going to be a little point of controversy for myself, because I want to redo this. Right now I'm running the viscous coupler and drive shaft a little lower than pretty much anyone on the planet. It does spin freely. It will probably vibrate. It is definitely lower than I want it to be. The rest of the car is actually, I mean, when you actually put everything together, that won't be that low. However, if I want to flip it and put it on top and tuck it further in the tunnel, I am going to need a new shifter, because my shifter will hit the viscous coupler where it currently sits. So, with that being said, it's going to run like this for now, and that's just going to be something now I'm going to deal with. And eventually I'll save up some pennies and I'll buy a new shifter. But for now, that's just how she's going to be. I'm going to test it like this and see if it'll actually work like this. My predictions are, yeah, I think it'll be just fine. Just looks kind of weird. The angles really aren't that severe. New seat that I picked up from a good friend of mine, Mr. Chris Edens. He had this out of his Miata race car. He ended up upgrading to a different one, or he just bought another one of the same. I forget what exactly he did. But he had this laying around the shop, and I'm going to use it for now because it's very comfortable and it fits very well. So they ordered seat brackets and mounts for it all. It's just on the way. It hadn't quite got here yet. The interior hasn't really changed much. I've been working so much on the drive line, and of course the whole front end. But if you see here, and we've got a whole complete front end car here. That actually looks pretty car shaped. Like, I am real happy with how this has turned out. I mean, these are, forgive me, these probably won't stay. They look a little better on camera than they really are. A huge gap up top. But I just kind of bought them because I was kind of bored one night. But they're 90 to 91 corner lenses on a 91 headlight bucket, so they match there. But this is an 88 fender, so it didn't quite fit in the fender just well. And this one especially doesn't fit very well because of the whole, crash side of this car. So I'll probably end up changing these up, but right now I'm just not really worried about it. Today what I'm going to do is try to finish this thing up. And the reason I want to get the radiator in, get this thing on the ground, I don't have much more. Once the radiator is done, the exhaust is put together, this thing will be able to drive. And I want to bring up a quick point real quick. So, me and Jeff have been talking back and forth. He builds cars for Art in Motion Rally Team, does some stuff on his own. He's got his own YouTube channel. I'll go ahead and link it. Here's some, how to find it. Give him a subscribe. Go over there and bother him about his 86 project, because he has an AE86 Initial D car that he's working on, and me and him have been teasing back and forth. He's like, "Oh, which car is going to get done first?" And he actually, to his credit, he got a car up and running way before mine did, that we were kind of teasing about for. But now he has started a challenge. So we have a small little side bet challenge going on. Who can get their car driving 5 miles the first? So it's the 5 mile challenge is just drive your car for 5 miles. Right? That's it. That's really it. Who can get their project car out and about and doing 5 miles first? It's kind of a tall order because there's a lot of stuff going on here. But it's kind of fun because it kind of keeps us all kind of accountable, keeps us all kind of, cross-supporting each other. And not only Jeff's AE86, my other buddy Derek down at Rally Ready, You've probably seen him on the channel, maybe some rally videos. Anyway, he's got an EG that he's building for, I think, Global Time Attack. And he has currently got the motor out, repainting everything, and he's part of the 5 mile challenge as well. Go over there, check his stuff out, follow him on Instagram. Here's all their links right here. But go give them some support, tell them I sent you, and tell them to bow down to the free CRX, because I really hope I get this thing going first. But yeah, that's why I'm doing all this stuff today. So the story of this friggin' this is a Sriracha sauce, VW Radiator. Had it in the wagon for a little bit. Didn't really like it because this bent and it was leaking. I tried to plug with some RTV, as you see. Didn't really work out that well. So what I'm going to do is weld this up. It does have I can drain it from just pulling the bottom thing out. So I'm not worried about draining the bottom. Weld this up. I actually have to build brackets from here to the front of the batch bar for where the CRX is going to actually mount to the CRX. A lot of welding stuff that I need to do with a TIG welder. I haven't TIG welded in a couple of years, so getting that all set up and getting it set up and put together right is going to take a little bit of time. So, stick with me. We'll get there. Well, I managed to make something that I didn't think I was going to be able to do. This is actually my very first time welding aluminum with my TIG machine, and proof is in the pudding. This one kind of got messed up a little bit because my electrode was a little bit too long, the tungsten was a little bit too long. This one was the very first one I did, and actually turned out pretty good. Once I got the puddle rolling and got some filler in there, I am not mad at that at all. And so to counteract my other problem is I had a little nipple down there, and I went ahead and I had this plug just laying around, this 1/8 inch MPT. I went ahead and drilled that, got some Teflon on there, got that all in there, and that actually wouldn't be a bad place to have a drain. Since I'm flipping this thing upside down, the old drain is here. That drain will now be on the bottom, so that kind of works. I did it today. This is what I wanted to do in my mind. I've been plotting and scheming this whole thing. And there we go. So I didn't show the whole thing, but you get the gist of it. All right, so there we go. That is all hooked up. I had 4 bolts in it. Hey, that's an improvement. That's something I would not usually do. All the lines are all hooked up. Got them. I trimmed that one a little bit, so it's a little bit not so crazy. There's not a kink in there anymore. This is still has a little bit of a kink in it, so I may trim a little bit off here when it's all said and done. I will have to pull back off to put the fan on, but I want to do a leak down test after I get some fluid back in here. In order to do that, though, I need to start it, and in order to start it, I put a map sensor back in here because your boy broke it, the one getting it out of the element intake manifold when I was taking it off. So I'll run to the junkyard and purchase a map from them. So the next video, I will be redoing the exhaust on the wagon. So I left the wagon exhaust dangling and put on with zip ties and a whole lot of things, and it's leaking. Also, there was no flex pipe at all, so it was a header and about 4 foot of pipe. So as soon as that exhaust hanger broke, the single one that was holding on, it acted like a giant fulcrum and was trying to pull the whole header off, and wasn't good. Thankfully, I put a really thick freaking header flange on there when I built that header, so it was okay. But yeah, that needs to be changed. The exhaust that I put on there was just kind of let's throw something together with the scrap stuff I had laying around, and it worked, but it wasn't ideal whatsoever. So yeah, I bought all the stuff. I got my UJ pipe, got my Flexies, got some 90s, got some more new V-bands, little caps for purging, back purging. Down here, actually I got a new little muffler from that's Summit's little master copy muffler, little shorty thing. Little sticky pipe there, but yeah, you can see it needs to be redone. It's leaking terribly at that flange there. You see the blacks all around it. But yeah, in order to drive this thing like I want to, and Enzo wants to, we really need to redo the exhaust first. That's the number one thing. I can't safely drive it around without that. And on top of that, I'll be swapping out this Koyo Rad that I've had laying around. I actually had planned to put that in the Gold Wagon, but the Gold Wagon just kind of on the back burner for a little bit. I don't plan on doing anything of that for a little bit since I'm going full steam ahead with this CRX as the race car. But anyway, that'll go in here, and there'll be a whole host of videos here with said wagon. What you're seeing here is my slice of heaven. When I walk out the garage, I see the nice light, I see the CRX, I see the wagon, the Element. This is my happy space. This is really, really inspirational to see all this stuff out here, and just fills me with motivation to know that I'm getting a lot of progress done. During those cold winter months, it really makes a lot of difference what kind of work you put into your car. So when the summer and the race time comes along and the race season's here, you're able to go and hit it. And that's something I really needed to focus on this year. And just doing little things at a time and not worrying about picking up the camera necessarily. Again, I kind of dreaded picking up the camera for a little bit, and it was just kind of a burden, but so I got to remember that I pick up the camera with an intention of doing something I love, something that I really do enjoy. And I do enjoy filming. I do enjoy watching these videos and being able to help people and talk to people about my projects. And with that in mind, I feel reinvigorated. Talking with Jeff and Derek and just kind of doing that little challenge just really sparked me up. So if you guys hung out through all this talking and stuff, I really appreciate it. I do have some other videos that I've done. I've shot full videos. I just haven't edited them. And there's tweaks I need to do. I haven't done them, and that's kind of sad. They may see the light of day after this video. We'll see. Not too super worried about it, but yeah, things are going great. Hannah's great. She's on her way home, and we're gonna grab some dinner. Yeah, not much. Missed you guys. Love you guys, and CRX. Let's go. It's almost time. Bye bye.